Good morning, students. This is your Maths 1 online teaching session. Let us continue with our fourth chapter, that is Ratio and Proportion, part 6. This is also the concluding session of this chapter. Let's see. The last part is based on a new topic or a new concept, that is proportion and continued proportion. Let's see the definition now. If A upon B is equal to C upon D, then A, B, C and D are in proportion, right? Means what? If there are four numbers like this and the ratio of first and second is equal to the ratio of third is to fourth, third is to fourth, then those numbers are said to be in proportion, correct? See, the ratio of first and second is equal to the ratio of third and fourth, then those numbers are said to be in proportion. Let's see the definition of continued proportion now. Now in continued proportion, instead of four numbers, we require only three quantities. Suppose I have three quantities A, B and C. What is the definition then? If the ratio between the first and the second is equal to the ratio between the second and the third. Okay. Now we have three quantities like A, B, C suppose. Ratio between the first and the second is equal to the ratio between the second and the third. Then these numbers are said to be in continued proportion. The middle term is called as a mean proportional. Middle term is what? B. B is called as a mean proportional or geometric mean. Okay? Between the terms A and C. Right. After this, you have understood, I hope, that for continued proportion we require A upon B is equal to B upon C. One more important thing that you need to remember is when you have ratio like this, A upon B is equal to B upon C. And now when you cross multiply this, what you will get? B into B as B square and A into C as AC. Right? This B is called as mean proportional, or it is also called as geometric mean. So these important points I want you to write before we start with the exercise. I hope all the points are understood to you. Yes? Okay. So after this, we'll start with the practice set 4.5. The first one. Which number should be subtracted from 12, 16, 21 so that the resultant numbers are in continued proportion? Now see, the numbers are 12, 16 and 21 that are not in continued proportion. What are they asking us? Which number should be subtracted from this? So from 12, if I subtract suppose x, so it will become 12 minus x. From 16, if I subtract x, it will be 16 minus x. And from 21, if I subtract x, it will be 21 minus x. So this is my first step. Let the number to be subtracted be x. Therefore, it will be 12 minus x, 16 minus x and 21 minus x are in continued proportion. After this, what to do? Now suppose I have three numbers like this, A, B and C, and I say that they are in continued proportion. What are you going to write? A upon B is equal to B upon C. Same thing I will be doing for this, right? These three numbers are in continued proportion. So what ratio I should write? 12 minus x upon 16 minus x. This is a middle term which will repeat itself like this, right? 16 minus x is equal to 16 minus x upon 21 minus x. Now after this, most of you will think of cross multiplying. I am not telling you that is wrong, but easier than that will be always for such word problems to go for dividendo. I hope you remember what is dividendo. Dividendo means the denominator is taken up and subtracted. Just see, this denominator is subtracted here. Same way this denominator is subtracted here. Okay, so that is done. Next step, we will open bracket. This will become minus 16, this will become plus x. See, and this will become minus 21 and this will become plus x. Correct? And denominator will be as it is, 16 minus x here and 21 minus x on the other side. Right? After this, the terms which can be cancelled, you cancel off x and minus x. Here also x and minus x. 12 minus 16, how much? Minus 4 upon 16 minus x. 16 minus 21, how much? Minus 5 upon 21 minus x. Right? Now you need to cross multiply with these terms. Before that, minus minus can be cancelled from both sides, so that calculation becomes easy. Now cross multiply. 4 into 21 minus x is equal to 5 into 16 minus x. So 4 into 21 will give you 84 minus 4x and 80 minus 5x. Now since it is a greater number here, let us shift it this side. It will become plus. And this 84 shift this side, it will become minus. Okay. So 5x minus 4x is equal to 80 minus 84. X will be equal to, now since 84 is a greater number with minus sign, we need to write minus 4. Final answer, minus 4 should be subtracted from 12, 16 and 21 so that the resultant numbers are in continued proportion. So I hope you have understood it. If you have understood this sum, the next question is just the same as what we have done just now. See the second one. If 12 minus x, 28 minus x is a mean proportion of 23 minus x and 19 minus x, then find the value of x. Now this is actually 2 steps are solved in this. You don't have to assume anything in this. They have already done. You don't have to subtract anything as we did in the previous one. Yes, it's already done. The only thing that is to be taken care is 28 minus x is a mean proportion. So you should not start with 28 minus x. 28 minus x is the mean proportion, means this is a number which will continue. With which number you should start then? Be careful about this. 23 minus x upon 28 minus x. Continue with 28 minus x. This is what I want you to understand. That 28 minus x will continue itself like this. Okay? Upon 19 minus x. Just see this first step. It is given. Right? Next step is, be very careful about this, that 28 minus x is going to continue itself because this is a mean proportion. Okay? After this, exactly same steps you need to follow that you will use dividendo. Take the denominator up and subtract it. Yes, change the sign. Whichever terms can be cancelled. This x and minus x from here, minus x and plus x from here. So 23 minus 28 is minus 5. 28 minus 19 is 9. Right? Now there are no two minus signs on both sides. In the previous sum we have got minus sign on both sides, so I told you to cancel it. Here we don't have. You start cross multiplying it directly. So 5 into minus 5 into 19 minus x is equal to 9 into 28 minus x. Now as you open the bracket and simplify, I hope everybody knows this. This will be minus 95, minus minus will be plus 5x, 28 into 9 is 252, minus 9x. Okay, 5x is here, this is minus 9x, shifted this side, it will become plus 9x. 252 is here, this is minus 95, shifted this side, it will become plus 95. So we get 14x is equal to 347. From there, x is nothing but 347 upon 14. As it cannot be further reduced, you need to leave this as the final answer. 347 upon 14. Okay. So these two were exactly same type of sums. Absolutely not difficult or different. Yes, I hope you have understood. Let us move to the next question. 3 numbers are in continued proportion. Okay. 3 numbers. First number, second number and third number. Try to understand this. They are in continued proportion whose mean proportional is 12. It means that the second number is 12. Okay. And the sum of the remaining 2 numbers is 26. It means the sum of the first number and the third number is 26. I hope the first part is understood what is given. 3 numbers, I am taking first number, second number and third number. They are in continued proportion. Second one value is given to you, that it is 12. Sum of the first and the third number is 26. How to do it? See, let the first number be x. Okay, if you don't understand from here, just see here. This is the first number and this is the third number. Okay, the sum is how much? 26. Now in this I am assuming the first number as x. X plus the third number is equal to 26. Right? So what should be the third number from here? X will go this side and it will subtract 26 minus x. I hope you understood now how we got this. Okay. Sum of first and third is 26. First is assumed as x. So third number automatically this will go this side and it will get subtracted. 26 minus x. Now since they are in continued proportion and 12 is the mean proportion, so 12 will repeat itself, correct? And you will get x upon 12 is equal to 12 upon 26 minus x. Cross multiply it, opening the bracket, nothing new I am telling you, exactly same what we have been doing. So we get 26x minus x square is equal to 12 12s are 144. Okay, so after this what you will do, you will bring it, let us multiply it. We have got till here, right? 26x minus x square is equal to 144. Bring it in the standard quadratic form. Shift this minus x square this side, 26 also this side, right? So it will become x square minus 26x plus 144 is equal to 0. So now 144 is to be factorized so that you get this minus 26. What should be the factors? 18 and 8. Since the product is positive, sum is negative, both the factors should be negative. So 18 and minus 18 and minus 8 will be the factors. Okay, so minus 26 can be written as minus 18 and minus 8, right? Now as we were doing for factorization steps, you try to take common, take care that it is minus, so this sign will change when I put it inside the bracket. Okay, so the two factors are x minus 18, x minus 8 is equal to 0. So from here this minus 18 can be shifted, it will become plus 18. See, it is x minus 18 is equal to 0, correct? So this minus 18 can be shifted this side and we will get x is equal to 18. Same way this also, x minus 8 is equal to 0, right? So minus 8 can be shifted this side, it will become 8. See, we have learned factorization in 8th standard and we have solved factorization sums. So this is based on exactly the same way how you used to factorize, right? So you get two values. So the third number will be 26 minus x. You have to take both the values. You can't neglect any value from here. So it will be 26 minus 18. 8 will be one of the case, first case, right? When you take 8, so it will be 26 minus 8, that will be 18. So there are two set of answers for this. How? Because x is 18 and x is 8 also. Accordingly the third term will change. So final answer will be, the numbers are 18, 12 and 8 or 8, 12 and 18. I hope all the sums are clear. This is little lengthy and something really to understand. Okay, so try to solve it and write it in your book as well. If you write it as I am teaching you, you will understand. Now this is our next question. It looks so difficult, trust me, it is very easy. A plus b plus c into a minus b plus c is equal to a square plus b square plus c square. This is what is given. What do you need to show? A, B, C are in continued proportion. In short, I need to show that b square is equal to AC. They have not given it. Instead of that, they have given this statement. It is to be understood by you that we need to prove b square is equal to AC. Okay. Now what? From where to start this thing? We will start with what is given to us. What is given, that we will write, and then we will open the bracket. I hope you know how to open the bracket. This A is to be multiplied with all the terms of this bracket. B is to be multiplied with all the terms of the bracket. C is to be multiplied. See, this is what is done here. A, B and C are multiplied by the same bracket again and again, that is A minus B plus C. And right hand side is written as it is, A square plus B square plus C square. Okay. Then what do? You open the bracket. A into A square, right? See this. A into A square. A into minus B minus AB. A into C, AC. The first bracket is done. Now open here. B into A, AB. B into minus B minus B square. B into C is BC. Same way the second one is done. The last one, C into A is AC. C into minus B is minus BC and plus C square. And right hand side, again we will write as it is. Okay. Then what is to be done? If any plus or minus sign you can see on any side, you cancel. See the left hand side. Can you see any plus or minus sign that you can cancel? Just see this, minus BC and plus BC. Can be cancelled? Yes or no? Okay, I hope you're understanding how we are cancelling. This plus AB and minus AB can be cancelled. Right? So now what is left on the left hand side? A square plus AC and AC. It will become 2AC. So A square plus 2AC plus C square and this minus B square, okay, is equal to A square. I hope you're understanding. See again what is left on the left hand side. A square is left, AC is left, B square is left, and again AC is left, right? So this AC and AC will become 2AC. A square as it is plus 2AC minus B square is this and plus C square is it, okay? Now after this also, if there are same terms on both the side, see, try to understand. When it is on the same side the cancellation to be done, we hunt for plus and minus sign. On the left hand side I told you what can be cancelled, minus AB and plus AB. But when the same cancellation is to be done from both the sides, now this one left and right hand side together, then what we will search, same sign, only then it can be cancelled. Like C square from here, C square from here, both are plus. Then any other thing, A square from here, A square from here, both are plus. Can we cancel this minus B square and plus B square? Absolutely no. They are with different signs on different sides. Do not get confused. They are with different sign on different sides, so they cannot be cancelled. Okay. So what is left? 2AC. Yes, 2AC minus B square is equal to B square. So now with this I can shift it this side. It will become plus B square. B square plus B square is 2B square. So 2AC is equal to 2B square. What can be done? 2 and 2 can be cancelled. AC is equal to B square. This is what I told you at the beginning only. They want us to prove this. Hence A, B, C are in continued proportion. If you don't write and solve this sum, orally you try to understand, you will not understand. Please write it, only then you will understand the steps. It is not difficult at all. Opening the bracket and cancelling the terms, that's it. Okay? So solve it. After this, I'll tell you which are the omitted sums of this practice set 4.5. Omitted sums are question number 5, that is 1, 2 and 3, and question number 6 are omitted. Okay? And with this, we come to the end of this session as well as the end of this chapter. I know this chapter was little bit to understand. Practice it, it will become easy, right? So next session, I'll start with the next chapter. Till then, goodbye.